Hello. Okay. So a very warm welcome to all of you. Today we are starting off with Mapping Enrichment Program orientation session. It would be, and we'll be taking up some of the topics also. It would not be a lengthy lecture, but it will be an orientation lecture. It will give you a face of what we'll be covering in the upcoming lectures also. So, as you know, UPSC Prelims has been nearing up. So, in geography perspective, there are some mapping questions which the UPSC has been asking. So trend-wise, we have seen from which topic and how to remember those particular locations with reference to other characteristics also. So we have to identify those locations and remember those locations in such a manner so that if UPSC asks in different statements or in pairs or in any format, you will be able to easily guess it out while attempting the paper, obviously. So under this mapping enrichment program, we'll be creating linkages between multiple subjects. So we have been seeing that in geography itself, if certain location has been asked, it has been asked in relation with its characteristic or certain information apart from that particular location. So let's say if a question regarding glaciers have come, so the question might ask which river originates from this glacier, particular glacier. Or if some, let's say, in cultural aspect also some city has been asked where some river flows. So that particular city is famous for what cultural element in the India. So we have divided our sessions into these multiple subjects like geography, history. It will be linking international relations, economy and environment also. So like wildlife sanctuaries, tiger reserves and everything. Apart from that, because if you are reading all these information and studying all these locations along with their references, so it becomes easier for you to memorize it. So when you memorize it, it will be easier for you to recall it during the exams, and it obviously gives an extra edge to those students particularly who are stuck up between 90 to 100 marks. See, in location mapping and everything, there has to be a linkages between different subjects and its different characteristics. So if you are studying a particular location while keeping geography and all these subjects in the back of your mind, it becomes easier for you. So that 90 to 100 ka borderline syndrome, you'll not be facing it after the prelims. So students always waste their time 1 month after the prelims thinking about whether we'll clear the prelims or not. So you should not be staying in that bracket, and you should be above it. Okay. Now these will be the session deliverables. We'll be covering up continental mapping sessions, each and every continent, right from the North America, South America, Africa, Asia, Europe, and Australia. And apart from that, because many of the questions are asked in perspective to India, its physical features and everything, so physiographic division of India becomes a major chunk. Drainage system of India, rivers, lakes and wetlands, etc. Mineral resources, so these all portions would be mineral resources and national highway, ports and waterway. It constitutes a part of economic geography also, but then in economy as a subject also you must be knowing about whether where are the particular locations of major minerals in India, let's say like coal, petroleum, iron ore, not all the minerals, but then you should be knowing basic minerals where they are found in India or where they are not found actually. Environment in ecology, obviously we are getting questions from national parks, wildlife sanctuary, tiger reserves, biodiversity reserves, world heritage sites. So this will be covered under environment and ecology section. Then we have locations and news, international relations, what all locations have been in news right now. Let's say right now currently Ukraine-Russia war has been happening up. So there are certain locations which you should know because UPSC might ask it in exam. And there will be historically important places. So this session will be taken up by Vikas sir. He'll be taking up all the historically important places right from the ancient India to medieval India and modern India. So this is the first demonstration is scheduled on today itself. We are taking this demonstration. Will be covering up certain amount of topic, and the first full-fledged session will be starting from 28th of March, and the total number of sessions will be 10. So all these topics have been divided into 10 sessions, and we'll be covering it up in the upcoming month. So let us just take up some one of the major topic from which the UPSC ask about maps and its locations and characteristics regarding that particular location. So we see we'll be taking up today physiographic divisions of India, and in particular we'll be taking up northern mountains in it, because as we know there are around 6 physiographic divisions in India, and we will be taking up one of them, which is the northern mountains. So this is the India's physiographic divisions. Northern mountains, you can see in the top there are the northern mountains, then northern plains, which is right beside the northern mountains in the foothills of the northern mountains, or as we can say the Himalayas. Indian desert you will find, you must all be knowing that it is in the northwestern part of the country. Then we'll be having a peninsular plateau. This is the Deccan Plateau or the Peninsular Plateau region. Then the coastal plains, all the plains which are traversing across the boundary in the oceanic lines or the sea lines, and the islands. Islands will be Lakshadweep and Andaman are the 2 major chunk of islands. And after these particular islands also, we'll be taking up some individual islands which are also located around the coastal areas, and we'll be taking them up as well in the upcoming sessions. So let us just start with the northern mountains. These are the physiographic divisions, particular northern mountains, northern plains, then Indian desert, peninsular plateau, coastal plains, and the islands. So we'll be taking up northern mountains in this particular session. So let us start. So now first starting off with the northern mountains, we have to understand the particular physiographic elements which are necessary to understand know while moving on to locating the particular mountain ranges or anything. So how Himalayas are formed, so that we get a fair bit amount of idea. Most of you must have been knowing how Himalayas were formed. They were formed when the Indian plate got pushed into the Eurasian plate some 60 to 70 million years ago. And this process, if you can see in this GIF image, you'll see Indian plate as it moves towards the Eurasian plate. The subducting of the ocean continent took place, and the Indian subcontinent got pushed into the Eurasian plate, forming a series of mountains, which is considered as the largest mountain ranges in the world. It is also considered as the 3rd pole. So this makes Himalayas to be known as pole mountains, because they have been made up of folding process through the while the Indian subcontinent and the Eurasian subcontinent got pushed into each other. Now the north-south division of India. Now there are at least 2 divisions in which we are going to divide the Himalayas. The first will be north-south divisions, so that we can get an idea from these north-south divisions are based on which parameters we'll see. And there is another division also which will be west to east division or east to west division, whatever you want to say. So that west to east division is dependent upon other parameter which we have made in accordance with the rivers which flow in these sections. So first we'll take up north-south division. North-south division has been made up with a particular characteristic of number of faults which are present. So there are around 4 particular distinctive faults which are present in the Himalayan system, which creates 4 divisions in Himalayas. Basically these divisions are created. Purvanchal is the northeastern side, so we'll see it later, but these 4 divisions are basically created on the basis of the faults. So there are Trans-Himalayan fault in the northernmost part. We'll see as we can see. So in the topmost part we'll see the Trans-Himalayan fault. This Trans-Himalayan fault is the outermost fault of the Himalayas. So it lies in the outermost part of the Himalayas, nearby to the Tibet region. Then we have another fault, main central thrust. So this is the main central thrust, which divides, like the Trans-Himalayas are in this region. Trans-Himalayas are above Trans-Himalayan fault. Then you'll find the Greater Himalayas between the Trans-Himalayan fault and the main central fault. Greater Himalayas. Then you have main boundary fault. Which differentiates between the Greater Himalayas and the Lesser Himalayas. Okay. And then in the lowest most side, or the southernmost side, you will find Himalayan frontal fault. Himalayan frontal fault. So this distinguishes between the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks. So in this manner, east and south divisions of the Himalayas have been created. Now let us just first take up the Trans-Himalayas. We'll see how Trans-Himalayas have been divided and what all ranges are constituted under it. So the first one is the Karakoram Himalayas, Karakoram Ranges, Ladakh, Zanskar, and the Kalash. These are the major 4 constituents of the Trans-Himalayas, which are, there are many other Trans-Himalayan ranges, but they lie outside India. Like the Pamir Knot is the main knot from which Tian Shan, Kunlun Shan, and Hindu Kush mountains. These are also a part of Trans-Himalayas only, but they lie outside India. So from Indian perspective, we have these 4 major ranges, and we'll see where they are located actually, and from which location to which location they are extended. So first we'll see the Karakoram range. So Karakoram is a Turkic term. It means black gravel. So if you see the photos or pictures, or if you go over Karakoram range, you will find black gravel over there. So from its Turkic term, it has been taken up the name Karakoram. So Kara means in local language it means Kala. Kala means black, so it means Karakoram. The ancient name of Karakoram range is Krishnagiri. And you must be knowing that Krishnagiri name has been originated from Krishna, who is also considered a black or dark skinned god. So Krishnagiri has been named after, Karakoram has been named after Krishna also. It forms a frontier between China and Afghanistan. So we'll see the Karakoram range lies over here. This is some certain part of one second. So Karakoram range is here, and it goes from here to here, we see, and here southern part is under POK. So some of the glaciers and some of the mountain ranges which lies in Karakoram are not accessible actually from India. They are accessible from the POK side. Now Karakoram range has a second highest peak. It holds the second highest peak also, which is K2, which is the second highest peak of the world. It lies over here, and it has a watershed between, like some of the rivers. Watershed means, a watershed is a region which divides the flow of the river. So now it forms a watershed between India and Turkmenistan. So some of the rivers which are flowing downwards, they flow downwards from Karakoram Range, and some of the rivers are flowing to the northern directions as well. It has a width of, very small width of 120 to 140 kilometers, and it has been in news in recent times due to Karakoram Anomaly. So what does Karakoram Anomaly means? See, as we have seen, due to the climate change, many of the glaciers around the world has been melting up. So the rate of their melting has been increasing also. But a study conducted by Ministry of Earth Sciences has shown that in the Karakoram Range, whatever glaciers are present over here, they are not retreating in as such manner as they are retreating in other locations of the Himalayan ranges. So they are retreating in a significantly less amount. So this has been this phenomenon has been termed as Karakoram Anomaly. You should keep in mind this has been running in news in the recent times. And apart from that, the highest battleground, the Siachen, also lies in the eastern part of the range, somewhat around here. You'll find Siachen also, and Indian battle forces are stationed over here. Operation Meghdoot was conducted in this part. You should know. And apart from that, we have some certain passes also lying here, like Karakoram Pass, which connects India and China. Now this Karakoram Pass has been used by CPEC, the corridor which has been built by China through POK in Pakistan, reaching Pakistan, and the Kilek Pass, which lies over somewhere here, and it connects the Gilgit-Baltistan region to the China region. Okay. Now moving on to, let's see a Google map of this location so that we can get a clear idea. We'll see we'll find Pamir not over here. This is the Karakoram range. Indian part is over here. Indian part is over here. Indian subcontinent part is over here. Now this is Kunlun Shan. This lies in China above Tibet. Pamir is in Tajikistan, this region. Tian Shan is in China itself. So this is considered as a knot from where all the ranges branches out. So Pamir knot is here. Karakoram ranges, Ladakh ranges, and the Himalayas are all originating from the main point, main knot. And then Hindu Kush is here. Kunlun Shan is in China above Tibet, and then Tian Shan is also. So this is the overall map of the location. Now moving on to the other part, which is the Ladakh. So now Ladakh range is at the southern side of Karakoram range, and it lies in to the north of Leh. So somewhere around here you'll find Leh. So north of Leh you'll find Ladakh range, and it merges with the Kalash range. Some disruptions are there over here, and it merges with Kalash range, which lies in the Tibet region. So it's not continuous, but Ladakh range lies in India, and then Kalash range lies in the Tibet region. Now there are the highest peak which is located in the Ladakh range is Mount Rakaposhi, and Mount Rakaposhi is like above 6,000 meters, and it is also located in the northern side of Leh. Now the major passes which are Khardungla Pass. This is a very famous pass. It is known for highest. It is one of the highest motorable road in India and in the world also. So Khardungla connects Leh to Siachen Glacier. So Leh is here, Siachen we have discussed here. So it connects Leh to the Siachen Glacier, and then also they have Changla Pass also, which connects Leh to Shiok Valley. So Shiok Valley and Nubra Valley, which is the valley surrounding the Siachen Glacier, and these are all in the same side also, but there are two ways, like Khardungla Pass is one of the pass, and the Changla is another pass which connects Leh to the Shiok Valley. Now moving on to the next range, which is the southern part of Sanskrit Range. Now Zanskar Range lies to the south of Ladakh. So you should remember it in the following manner. See Karakoram in the northern side, then you have Ladakh Range in the southern side of it, and then comes the Zanskar Range. And it runs parallel to the Ladakh Range. Nanga Parbat is the highest most point in the Zanskar Range, which lies in the westernmost side. And this Zanskar Range separates Ladakh region from the valleys of Kashmir, which is over here. And then Chenab River, which flows from P Panjal Range. So it also reaches here, and then it separates it from Ladakh. So Kashmir Valley and the Chenab River is getting separated from Ladakh through Zanskar Range. The major pass which is present in here is Baralachala Pass, which connects the Lahore region of the Himachal Pradesh to the Ladakh region of Leh. Now moving on to the next range, which is the Kalash Range. The Kalash Range totally lies in the Tibetan part of the region, and it is a part of somewhat a part of Ladakh Range. So it is a branch of Ladakh Range. As you can see, Ladakh Range is here, and it is extended towards the Kalash Range with a minor gap between it. So now average elevation is around 5,500 to 6,000 meter, and the highest peak here is Mount Kailash, which is revered by Hindus and Tibetans also. So it is a multi-religious site, and you'll find certain lakes over here like Rakastal and Mansarovar Lake, which are acting as the origin of Indus and Brahmaputra river. So major rivers also flow through these rivers. These kind of rivers which are found in the northern side or in the trans-Himalayan side are mostly known as antecedent river, because they have been formed before the formation of Himalayas. They have been flowing before the formation of Himalayas itself. They have changed their course because of the barrier which has been created due to the movement of Indian subcontinent towards the Eurasian continent, but they have been flowing prior to that formation itself. So they are known as antecedent river. When we'll be covering about rivers in the drainage system of India, we'll be explicitly talking about all these parameters through which we define the pattern of river. Now Karakoram Range we have discussed: Karakoram, Ladakh Range, Zanskar Range, Kailash Range. So these are all ranges which are divided from the north to the south region. Ladakh and Kailash are the same continuity, but then it lies somewhat in the southern region of to the Ladakh. Now we have remained with only one, which is Purvanchal. We'll be discussing it. First, we'll be taking up Greater Himalayas. Now, Greater Himalayas are the southern side, lies to the southern side of the southern side of the Trans-Himalayas. Now, Trans-Himalayas are formed. Trans-Himalayas, as we have discussed, it is divided between two main thrust points. Now, Zanskar Greater Himalayas lie to the southern side of, and it is famous. It is known as Greater Himalayas because it has got the highest peaks in the world. So the height of the peaks here extends from 6,000 to 8,000 meters. Examples being, many of the examples being Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga and everything. So these are the major ranges which are lying on the Greater Himalayas. And one of the most unique point about it is also the height of the Himalayas increases when you go towards the eastern side. So in the Karakoram range that we have seen, many of the ranges above 8,000 were lying on the western side, but then in the Greater Himalayas, if you see, this is the Greater Himalayas. As we can see, this Greater Himalayas, the height of the peaks increases towards the eastern side. So 8,000ers you will find majorly in the eastern side, and on the western side you will find 7,000 meters mountains having height of 7,000 meters or so. So now Greater Himalayas. Greater Himalayas also known as Himadri. So Greater Himalayas are also, there's another name known as Himadri, and it extends latitudinally, as we have discussed, Trans-Himalayan fault and the major central fault, major central thrust. So in this, the terminus, what is the westernmost and the easternmost side of the Himalayas, what is the easternmost? It is defined by a particular syntaxial belt. So now above this from moving western side towards the greater Himalayas, we'll see it the Himalayas bend towards the southern side from a particular point, and similarly it goes to the eastern side also. So there is a point where from the western and the eastern side, the Himalayas take a bend, and these bends are taken around Nanga Parbat and Namcha Parbat. So Nanga Parbat you'll find in the abhi we have discussed ki Nanga Parbat was the part of Sanskrit Range, and then Namcha Parbat you'll find it in the eastern side, and from these belts it takes a southern side turn from these two defined locations. Major alpine glaciers, if we'll discuss how the glaciers have been defined, many number of glaciers you will find in these greater Himalayas also. The important ones are Gangotri, Milam, Pindari and Zemu. We will be discussing about these glaciers in a while in the upcoming slides also. The second highest peak, which is called known as Kanchenjunga, lies in the greater Himalayas, and you'll see in India, which is it's a part of India, where also Mount Everest lies in this greater Himalayas only. Some strategic passes if we'll discuss: Burzil and Zozila in Jammu and Kashmir, Chipkila, Manali Leh route mein you'll find Chipkila is an important pass through which one of the important rivers known as Satluj enters India. Mana Pass you'll find it in Uttarakhand. Similarly, Lipu Lake is also a pass which is found in greater Himalayas and Uttarakhand itself. It is famous for Mansarovar pilgrimage. So over all the pilgrims take the route, they take it from Lipu Lake. There is another pass, Nathula, which is in Sikkim. From there also this pilgrimage takes place. Jalapla and Nathula, these are the two important passes in the Sikkim which lies in this range, and Bumla is the another pass which is found in Arunachal Pradesh. Now moving on to the lesser Himalayas, as we have seen, lesser Himalayas lie to the south because it's a north-south division. Lesser Himalayas lie to the south of the greater Himalayas, and these are mainly the metamorphic rocks which have been found due to the force of the violent thrust from the southern side. So from the Shivalik and everything, they are violently thrusting these mountain ranges, and then metamorphic rocks are found. It extends latitudinally between main central thrust and main boundary fault. So we have discussed that it has been latitudinally between main central thrust and the main boundary fault, and the average elevation goes down. So as you move towards from the northern side to the southern side, obviously the average elevation also goes down. The eastern parts are the gentle slopes, and the western parts are the steep slopes. And comparison, if you're comparing from the eastern part to the western part of this range, you'll find in the eastern parts they have gentle slopes, and in the western parts they have steep slopes. The south facing slopes also, whichever slopes have been facing in the southern direction, they are also steeper than the north facing side. An example of this would be if and it has been seen in each and every ranges part of the Himalaya ranges we have seen. In the case of Mount Everest, if you can see, the northern side of Mount Everest lies in China, and the southern side lies in Nepal. It is easier for someone to climb Mount Everest from the northern side. It is always easier, but China doesn't allow it due to some their restrictions and all. They don't allow trekking and all from the northern side. But people have to then the only options they have left is from the southern side, from the Nepal region. And there are certain high altitudinal pastures present in these type of Himalayas, which are known as Murgs in Jammu and Kashmir. So Murg, if you are known for the you have known certain locations like Sonmarg, Gulmarg, these are all high altitudinal pasture lands or pasture lands. And Bugyals you will find in Uttarakhand. These are also the same high altitudinal what you can say pastures, and you will find these above the height of 3,500 meters. These also hold some certain religious connotation also. So these are known as so certain ranges. If you'll see in this lesser Himalayas, you'll find Pir Panjal range, which lies in the region of Jammu and Kashmir, and it traverses up till the Himachal. Then we have Dhauladhar range, which lies in the Himachal region, connecting Jammu and Kashmir also, and in the Himachal region also. Then we have Mussoorie ranges, which are in the Uttarakhand state. And then we have like this is the map. If you can see, Nanga Parbat is a syntaxial belt, as we have discussed. It is in the western side, and Namcha Parbat similarly you will find on the eastern side. Now Pir Panjal range is in this Jammu Kashmir region, which lies between Jhelum and Rabi river. So if river wise, if you wanna divide all these ranges, you can divide it in this form. Pir Panjal range lies between Jhelum and Rabi. Then similarly Dhauladhar range comes to the southern side of it. Then Mussoorie range, if you move towards the eastern side, it lies between Satluj to Alaknanda river. We'll divide it in a formal format also, just to give you an idea about where they are located. I'm just showing you this map. Now Kumaon region, in the Kumaon region you'll find Alaknanda to Kali river. You'll find it in the easternmost side of Uttarakhand. Now Mahabharata range is the major range which covers the area of Nepal. Then you have Darjeeling, through which Tista river flows. It lies in the Sikkim region, Sikkim West Bengal region. And then we have certain small mountains, Miri, Abor, Mishmi and Dafla hills in the northeastern side. Now we have Shivalik hills. Now moving on to the Shivalik hills are lesser in elevation. They are found in the southern side, the last outer Himalayas they are known as. They're in the southernmost side. So, and the main characteristic of these are basically formed of folding of the sediments. So as we have seen in the previous GIF, when the ocean continental plate was moving towards the Indian plate was moving towards the Eurasian plate, certain amount of sediments were also rising up from the geosyncline region of the Tethys Sea. So Tethys Sea may you will find certain sediments lying down. When these two plates are moving together, certain amount of sediments are also building up on the southernmost side of the Himalayas. So Shivaliks are mainly formed of those sediments and not from the major rock particles or metamorphic rock, as we have seen in the greater Himalayas. And so many of the landslides and everything, you will find these landslides in these regions. Southernmost sides of Himalayas, they are formed due to folding of sediments, obviously. Elevation not exceeding 1500 meters. So they are mostly around 1500-1000 meters of height. And one of the major characteristics of these mountain ranges are certain amount of what you can say, in their foothills you will find certain valleys where decomposition of all the sediments occurs through, because all the rivers which are flowing and entering the plain region, they form certain closed valleys. These valleys are known as Doon valleys or the Duars in the west, Doon in the east. So Dehradun is a very good example of this type of valley. And similarly in the West Bengal region, below in the foothills of the Darjeeling hills and everything, you will find Duars over there. So dividing it in different type of hills, we'll see. One is Jammu Hills. Jammu Hills, you will find it in Jammu and Kashmir, obviously. Dhang and Dhudwa Hills, which you will find in Uttarakhand region, which are also of the height of 900 to 1400 meters. Then you have Churia Hills, which you will find in the southernmost side of the Himalayas in the Nepal. Then we have Dafla, Miri, Abor and Mishmi Hills, which you will find in the northeastern side. If you can see the northeastern side, you will get a clear idea how they are located. Dafla comes first, then Miri, Abor and Mishmi in the easternmost side of Arunachal Pradesh. These all mountains are in the Arunachal Pradesh region only, and then accordingly they are known as. So you have to learn them: Dafla, Miri, Abor, Mishmi. If you see the map regularly also, you'll get an idea ki how these hills are arranged. Now moving on to the north-south division, so we have already done. So these all Himalayas we have already covered up till Purvanchal. Purvanchal may there are from the Dafla hills and Miri, Abor and Mishmi hills we have seen, which is a part of Shivalik only. From here, as we have seen, that it takes a turn. Himalayas takes a turn. So when they take a turn, they move to the southern side, and this region which of the Himalayas which move towards the southern side, this is particularly known as the Purvanchal. So there are certain hills, there are certain mountains which are located in this region. We'll see one by one to them. One is the Patkai Bum mountain, which forms an international border between India and Myanmar. So you'll find it over here. It goes across the Arunachal Pradesh and the Nagaland. Then we have Naga Hills, which forms a watershed between. It also forms a watershed. Some of the rivers which flows from the Naga Hills move towards the India, and some of the rivers flows towards the Myanmar region. And Saramati is the highest peak in this region. So in the whole of the Purvanchal itself, the Saramati is the highest peak, and it particularly lies in the Naga Hills. Then we have Manipur Hills. Then we have Manipur Hills in the Manipur area. Loktak, it is famous for Loktak Lake, and one of the famous river, Barak River, which also flows to Loktak Lake. It also originates from the Manipur Hills. Then we have Mizo Hills, which are also known as Lushai Mountains, and or the Blue Mountain, because they have an appearance of a blue kind of mountain, and these are Blue Mountain is the highest peak also over here. Then we have Tripura Hills lying in the Tripura region, and these Tripura Hills have a ridges and valley type of topography. So these are because they are very much eroded in their eroded form, so they have ridges and valley type of topography. Now, as we have discussed, discussed the northern and the southern divisions of the Himalayas, now just we'll move on to the eastern and the western division. So how eastern and western side of the Himalayas are divided. So there are particularly, you have to identify a particular characteristics to which you will be able to divide the Himalayas in which format. So we have taken up the river division, which all rivers flow through these ranges from the eastern, moving from the western side to the eastern side. So we have divided it in such manner. So now Kashmir and the Punjab Himalayas, that you'll see from the Kashmiri Range, you'll find them between Indus and the Satluj River. Then you'll moving on to the next Himalayas, Kumaon and the Himachal Himalayas. These Himalayas are found in between the Satluj River and the Kali River. Kali River is, you'll find it in forming a boundary between India and Nepal. Now we have Nepal Himalayas, moving from the Kali River to the Kosi River. You'll have Nepal Himalayas. Then you have Sikkim Himalayas, which are lying between the Kosi River, which flows through Bihar, and then the Teesta River, which flows through Sikkim and West Bengal. Then we have Assam Himalayas, the last group of Himalayas, which lies between the Teesta River and the Brahmaputra River. To give you a fair idea of how these east-west division are formed, we'll see Punjab Himalayas or the Jammu and Kashmir Himalayas. These lies between Indus and the Satluj River. Kumaon Himalayas lies between Kali River or the Shada River. There are two names for it, and the Satluj River. Kali River flows through it, and the Satluj River enters from here. And then Nepal Himalayas between the Kali and the Sharda, Kali or Sharda and the Teesta, as we have discussed. And the last is the Assam Himalayas, which lies between Teesta or Dibang or the Siang River. Siang River is basically Brahmaputra River only. When Brahmaputra enters it from Arunachal Pradesh, it is called as Dibang or Siang River. Now, as we have discussed all the mountains, major mountains which are covering India's northernmost part, there are certain passes which provides a way to enter towards the other side of the mountains. These are the passes. There are major passes which are located in these regions. One is the Jammu and Kashmir, then we'll go to Himachal, then Uttarakhand, then Sikkim, and then lastly Arunachal Pradesh. So there are many passes, but you should be knowing from the perspective of UPSC, certain important passes you should be knowing, so that if UPSC asks in certain options or certain statements, you will be able to easily rule out the wrong ones and mark the right ones. Not all passes, because there might be there are more than 200 passes if you can consider each and every pass, but then you should be knowing certain major passes. First, we'll take up the passes in the Jammu and Kashmir region. The first one is Mintaka Pass. Mintaka Pass lies in the Karakoram Range. Okay, then the othermost side over here. and it is a tri-junction. It creates a tri-junction between India, China and Afghanistan. So it lies in the POK region right now, and China has been utilizing it for transport and everything. This lies in the Karakoram Range. Then second part is the Aghil Pass. Aghil Pass also lies in the Karakoram Range. As you can see, we have already discussed this region the previous slide. It connects the Xinjiang region, the westernmost side from the Tibet to the China, to the Ladakh region, and it lies in the north of K2. So somewhere here we have found K2, and it lies to the north of K2. Then the third pass is Pir Panjal Pass. So Pir Panjal Pass lies mostly in the Pir Panjal range, and after the name of the range, and it provides access to the Srinagar Valley. So from Jammu, if you are going towards the Srinagar Valley, you have to use this pass. And it has an historical perspective also. The Sikh Emperor Maharaja Ranjit Singh launched an invasion towards against the Durrani Empire in the 1814 via the Pir Panjal Pass itself. So it's a high pass where the it acted as a battleground also. Now Zojila Pass. Zojila Pass is an important pass in consideration to the strategic requirements of India. So it lies in the Zanskar Range. We have already discussed here. Over here Zanskar Range was there. It connects Srinagar to Leh. So that is why it acts as a major strategic pass. National Highway 1D is a major road which passes through it, and it is maintained by Border Roads Organization. So these are all the major passes or the major roads which have strategic importance for India in terms of military and in terms of borders and everything. BRO takes a initiative towards them for the maintenance and everything. So now Khardunla Pass, this is also one of the major pass which connects the Leh area to the Kargil area. So from Leh, if you want to go to Kargil, you have to pass through this Khardunla Pass, and it is one of the world's highest motorable roads, above 5,600 meters, and it is gateway to Shyok and Nubra Valley. So as we have discussed, Siachen lies near the north of the Nubra Valley, and Shyok River also, Shyok River and the Shyok Valley is also to the somewhat to the eastern side of it. So it connects, acts as a gateway from the Leh towards the Shyok and the Nubra Valley. Now the next pass is Baralachala Pass. Baralachala Pass lies in the Zanskar Range, which covers the area of Jammu and Kashmir towards the Himachal part, and it lies over here. Connects Himachal Pradesh to Jammu and Kashmir. Obviously, it has an elevation of around 5,000 meters also, and national highway. It consists of a national highway which connects the Mandi area of Himachal Pradesh to Leh. So from Himachal Pradesh, if somebody wants to visit Leh directly, not by going through Srinagar, so there are two routes which people take to reach Leh. One is from Manali to Srinagar, and then they go towards Leh, and the second one is directly through Baralachala Pass, which connects Mandi to Leh. Then the second pass is Rohtang Pass. This is very famous pass. As some of you might have also visited this pass. It's a tourist location. It is found in Himachal Pradesh, and it connects the Kullu Manali region of Himachal Pradesh to the Lahore and Spiti valleys. And this pass is also maintained by BRO. Atal Tunnel recently has been made along this pass to reduce the traffic load in this region. The next pass is Shipkila Pass. Shipkila Pass connects the HP with Himachal Pradesh with Tibet, and Satluj River enters through India through this. So Satluj River originates near, as we have discussed, Satluj River originates near Kalash Range, and in those Rakastal is the name of the lake from which it originates, and it enters Himachal Pradesh to Shipkila Pass. The next one is Lipu Lake Pass. So now Lipu Lake Pass acts as a tri-junction between India, China and Nepal. So this pass has been also in news due to the incident recently took place near Kalapani region of Uttarakhand. So this road or this pass also connects India or to the Mansarovar Lake. So Kailash Mansarovar route or the pilgrimage takes place through this region. Then we have Niti Pass. It connects India with Tibet and it remains closed in winter. So majorly all these passes which you are finding in the northern side over here from Jammu and Kashmir to Himachal to Uttarakhand, these are basically opened in the summer times and not in the winter times due to the heavy snow in these areas. Mana Pass is also one of the pass which connects India with Tibet. It lies in the Garhwal region of Himalayas, Uttarakhand, and then it is situated near Badrinath, Kedarnath region, and it also remains closed in winters. Then we move on to the eastern side, from the Sikkim side. Sikkim you will find one of the major pass which is called as Nathula Pass. Nathula Pass is also used for Kailash Mansarovar pilgrimage, and it connects Sikkim region to the Tibet region. It was actually a part of ancient Silk Route also, and it is closed after the Chinese aggression in the 1962 war due to because obviously the war was taking place, so India had to close it. But the trade around this region and the trade along this route was opened up in 2006 through a mutual understanding. And then Mansarovar pilgrimage also taken place from here too. Then we have Jelepla Pass, which connects Sikkim to the Bhutan side. So Bhutan, it lies in the Sikkim-Bhutan border, and it passes through Chumbi Valley. Chumbi Valley is also famous because it is nearby the Doklam region. So Jelepla Pass is along that route only. And then important link between Sikkim and Lhasa. So it connects Sikkim to Tibet and Bhutan also. It is at the tri-junction of these three countries, India, Bhutan and Nepal, India, Bhutan and Tibet, and it can also acts as an important link between Sikkim region and the Lhasa. Lhasa is the capital of Tibet. Then we have Bomdila Pass. Bomdila Pass is also an important pass. It lies in the West Kameng district of Arunachal Pradesh, and it connects India or Arunachal Pradesh to the Tibetan region. Many of the monasteries, Upper Gompa and the Lower Gompa, they are found nearby Bomdila Pass. Then we have Dihang Pass in the Arunachal Pradesh region. It connects Arunachal Pradesh to the Myanmar, and it has an elevation of more than 4,000 meters. So as we are moving towards the eastern side, we are seeing that the elevation is also declining. So right from here we have discussed about Khardunla Pass, which is the highest motorable road, heighting about at a height of around 5,600 meters. Now the elevation is decreasing. So over here you will find such passes which are open all round the year. The Hang Pass is one such pass which is open all round the year. Some of the other days you will find some snow or something, but generally it remains open. Similarly, we have Lipu Pass also. It lies in the tri-junction of Arunachal Pradesh, Myanmar and China, and it has an easy access to Mandalay in Myanmar. Then it remains open throughout the year as the elevation is going down, thus the amount of snowfall is also reducing. Now glacier in the Himalayas, as we have seen, Karakoram Range, Pir Panjal Range, Kumaon Garhwal region. We'll cover up these glaciers also. So some of the we have seen UPSC is asking about certain glaciers. So there are certain perspectives about glaciers also, how to read about glaciers, what to know in glaciers, because there are around hundreds of glaciers which are lying in the northern side of the Himalayas. So it will not be necessary for you to read about each and every glacier and know about them. Some of the certain of the major glaciers or the largest glaciers we are looking up. We'll be looking up, and we'll also try to find the major characteristic in the form of if any certain rivers are flowing through it or originating from it, because there can be a number of streams coming out of any glacier, but we have to majorly focus upon the major streams which are flowing out of these glaciers. Now glaciers in Jammu and Kashmir region, if you'll see, there are maximum number of glaciers found in the Karakoram Range. So Karakoram holds the record of like maximum number of glaciers, and not anywhere on the earth apart from the polar regions you'll find glaciers. So this region is also obviously known as the third pole. Now largest glacier outside the subpolar and polar regions you'll find. Obviously Siachen Glacier in the Nubra Valley, as we have discussed. Siachen Glacier is here. You can open this one second. So somewhat here you'll find Siachen. So Siachen Glacier in the Nubra Valley is the largest glacier. It's the largest glacier outside the subpolar and the polar regions, and it's the largest glacier of Karakoram Ranges. It's the largest glacier in India also. The second largest is the Fedchenko Glacier, which lies in the Pamir. So in the Pamir region, as we have discussed in the northern side, you'll find Fedchenko Glacier. Fedchenko. It is also one of the, it is the second largest glacier, and the third largest we'll find Hispar Glacier in the Gilgit-Baltistan region. So this is the Gilgit-Baltistan region. It is accessible from POK side, and you'll find. See if you can find there are multiple glaciers which are very close to each other. So what happens is like during the summer times they get differentiated along the lines of different names. But there are certain times during the times of winter when these all the glaciers get mixed up because of so much snow and everything, so they form a larger glacier. So sometimes if you'll find Biafo and Baltoro glaciers also mixed up at certain times. So now let us have a look on other glacier also. You'll find Hispar glaciers on the northern side. There is one Batura Glacier also, which is in the westernmost side of Karakoram Range. So Batura Glacier, which is on the westernmost side of Karakoram Range. So this is the Karakoram Range, and you'll find all these glaciers. So one such glacier is Batura Glacier. Then comes the Hispar Glacier. Then is the Biafo Glacier and the Baltoro Glacier. These are all closely linked to each other. So sometimes Baltoro and Biafo get mixed up during the winter times, and it forms a single glacier. Then we have Godwin-Austen. So up till Godwin-Austen lies in the POK region. Then comes the Siachen. Lolofond is also lies in the POK region. Lolofond also lies on the POK region. So these are the major glaciers which are found in the Karakoram Range. Then moving on to the glacier, we can find the glaciers. Moving on to the glaciers which are on the Himachal side. So we take up glaciers on the Himachal side. So here in the Himachal we'll find obviously less number of glaciers as compared to the Karakoram Range. The longest glacier is Sunapani Glacier in the Chandra Valley. So there are two important glaciers which are found in this region. One is the Sunapani Glacier, which is found in the Chandra Valley over here, Sunapani, and one is the Barasingli Glacier. So Barasingli Glacier is famous for origination of Chenab River. So Chenab River comes out from Barasingli Glacier. So Chenab, the older name of Chenab is Chandrabhaga, as you can read it somewhere, as you might be knowing it. Chandrabhaga is the ancient name of Chenab. So one of the rivers, Chandra River, originates from Barasingli Glacier. So and then it mixes up with Bhaga River, and then it forms a Chenab. And obviously in the region of Lahaul Spiti, and it is around 15 kilometers long. So it is also one of the largest glacier in India, apart from the Karakoram Range. Then we'll move along to the next, the glaciers in the Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand you'll also find many glaciers, but then the major ones are Gangotri and Milam. Gangotri glaciers lies in the Garhwal Himalayas, and from here river Bhagirathi originates. Bhagirathi is one of the main confluence, main river of which forms the Ganga River in the Devprayag region. So one of the major rivers, see, two rivers originate, mix up in Devprayag. In Devprayag, there are two rivers which confluence together, Alaknanda and Bhagirathi. So Bhagirathi river originates from the Gangotri or Gomukh. Gomukh is the particular place from in the Gangotri region where Gangotri Glacier, from where the Bhagirathi originates. Then we have Milam Glacier. From the Milam Glacier, Gangotri is in the Garhwal Himalayas, Milam is in the Kumaon Himalayas. So in Milam Glacier may you'll find the river which is originating from here. The major river which originates from here is Gori Ganga. So if Gori Ganga is one of the major river. These are all tributaries of Ganga itself, but because obviously there are number of glaciers, some of the major rivers are originating from there. So Gori Ganga is also one such river. Then there is Pindari Glacier also. This is also important glacier which originates from where the river Pindar originates. River Pindar River, name of the glacier itself. Okay, so these are major glaciers which are found in the Uttarakhand region. So now moving on to the glaciers on the eastern side, we have Kanchenjunga Glacier. Obviously in the Kanchenjunga region, Kanchenjunga Valley, we'll find Kanchenjunga Glacier, and there is also one important glacier, Jammu Glacier is also there, which is nearby Kanchenjunga only, in the eastern side itself. And one such river which originates from here is Teesta. Teesta river originates from Jammu and it flows down towards the Sikkim and West Bengal, and then finally it meets the Ganga. Then these are the major glaciers which are found in the Himalayas. So if you have a track, if you are keeping a track of all the glaciers, just try to see what all rivers are originating from these regions, so that it becomes easier for you to understand and memorize also. See if certain rivers. One such, if you'll see, there is one more glacier in. If you'll see there is one more glacier in here, Uttarakhand region, which is Bandar Poonch. Bandar Poonch Glacier is also in the Garhwal region of Uttarakhand, and one major river which flows out of it is Yamuna. So Yamunotri is the originating place, and it lies at the Bandar Poonch Glacier. So Bandar Poonch pe you will find Yamuna river originating from it. So these are certain major rivers from where the rivers are originating from these glaciers. Certain other rivers are also there, like which there are small glaciers in Uttarakhand itself. You will find Namik Glacier. One such glacier is Namik Glacier, which is also in the Garhwal region over here. So you will find Ram Ganga, one of the streams of Ram Ganga originating from here. So we have discussed about Namik Glacier, Gangotri Glacier, Milam Glacier, Bandar Poonch Glacier. So these are all the major glaciers you can find in the Uttarakhand region. So try to link all these glaciers with a certain river, so that we get a fair amount of idea and it becomes easier to understand also. Now we'll move on to let us have a look on some of the previous year questions also. So some previous year questions you'll find Siachen Glacier is situated. This is one of the questions which has been asked in 2020, and this is a very basic question regarding the location. So if you see the map and everything, you'll find the correct answer regarding it. So now, if you have in the course of this session, we have discussed about Siachen Glacier. We'll see how all these options are related to Siachen Glacier or not. So Siachen Glacier is situated to the east of Aksai Chin. If you see Aksai Chin region, you will find it in the eastern side of India, eastern side of Leh, Ladakh region, and the east of Leh, that is the same thing, north of Gilgit-Baltistan region in the northwestern part, and north of Nubra Valley. So we are already discussing कि हाँ ठीक है, if you are reading about certain glaciers, you have to read about valleys, about its connecting valleys, about its rivers which are originating from it, and I've been talking about Siachen Glacier, linking it with Nubra Valley. Okay, so Nubra Valley and the Nubra River which originates from Siachen Glacier, this will be the correct answer to it. D will be the correct answer to it. So you have to identify certain other parameters also to link a certain location, like glaciers, like rivers. If you are saying to look about the places from where these rivers are moving from, and look all the tributaries which of the particular river. So we'll have a connected idea of all the location. This is one of the second question also, which is one of the previous year questions only. So here the glaciers have been linked with river. See, they'll not ask, UPSC won't ask ki haan theek hai, this glacier is situated here. So you see, so one such parameter is location. We have discussed about the location where these locations are, where these glaciers or particular locations are present. But then you have to link it with other parameters also, like the river we have discussed. So Bandar Pooch ka abhi we have discussed abhi recently in the previous slide only. I have told you ki Bandar Pooch mein Yamuna Nadi nikalti hai. So we will find ki Yamunotri lies in the Bandar Pooch region. Barashingri and Himachal region, we have already seen ki Barashingri glacier is there, and the Pir Panjal range and the Chenab river originates from it. Milam, Mandakini, we don't know. We will see. Milam ke liye Gori Ganga river I have told you, but we'll see ki Mandakini river, where does it originate from. Siachen, Nubra, as we have discussed, the same Siachen ke bare mein same information they have asked, ki Nubra Valley or the Nubra river. And the Jammu Glacier, Manas river. Now in this question, if we can see Bandar Pooch, we have to know, because these are the basic glaciers from which major rivers or major they hold major amount of water, so they are essential for India's water requirements also. So we have to discuss about this. So Bandar Pooch ka to Yamuna we have already marked, so one is already correct. So options would be A and B. Now Barashingri mein Chenab we have already discussed. Milam se I have told you the river Gori Ganga originates. So if and Mandakini is, see at this point of time when this question was asked, there was Uttarakhand floods happening up. Mandakini, at the Mandakini river there was Chorabari Glacier. Chorabari Glacier was very it broke off, the water in the lake over there in the Chorabari Glacier broke off the levee, and then it flowed down. So the major river which flows out of Chorabari Glacier is Mandakini. It's nearby Kedarnath region. Siachen ka we have already discussed. Nubra. Jammu ka I have told you, Jammu se Tista river comes out, and Manas river comes out from the Arunachal region. So sorry, not from the Arunachal region, it comes from the Tibetan region. So Manas river could not be the answer for Jammu. Jammu ka, if you have read about glaciers and how what all rivers are coming out of it, you will obviously find that 1, 2 and 4 would be the correct answer of it. Now moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements. In India, the Himalayas are spread over 5 states only. See, now we are teaching about Himalayas and everything, what all location and everything, but the broader aspect of it is you have to see it in the format so that you know ki in all these states Himalayas are present or not. So you have to derive all the various type of dimensions in which UPSC can ask a question. So we'll see in India the Himalayas are spread over 5 states only. Is it? If you can find out Himalayas are extended over how many states, you'll see there are more than 12-13 states, more than 12 states. If you consider Jammu and Kashmir previously as the oldest state, then there will be 13 states, but now there will be 12 states and 13 states and union territories and all. Western Ghats, this is the other question, but then the question was right now in relation to this class, this session, we'll see Himalayas are, this statement is very much focused from this session. So first would be obviously wrong, because 5 states, if you calculate it from Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal, Uttarakhand, then you will find Sikkim, West Bengal. Obviously West Bengal maybe Darjeeling Hills are there, na? So Darjeeling Hills are in West Bengal. So Darjeeling ho gaya, after then you'll find Arunachal Pradesh, then Purvanchal region also comes, Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, Tripura. So we have already discussed all these states. So now 5 states mein to only ho hi nahi sakta. So first is wrong. Then we have Western Ghats are spread over 5 states only. And this will also see कि हाँ ठीक है Western Ghats are not spread. So Western Ghats का भी if you take up a mind map all these locations, Western Ghats कहाँ से होते हैं निकलते हैं. Western Ghats होके निकलता है Gujarat, Maharashtra, then we have Goa, then we have Kerala, then sorry Karnataka, then we have Kerala. ठीक है, तो all these will consist like 6 states. So Pulicat Lake is the spread over 2 states only. Now we'll discuss it when we will be discussing about all the lakes and everything, how where they are located, in which states they are located, and which river drains into it, which all rivers comes out of it. So these are the basic characteristics that we have to see. So Pulicat Lake actually lies between Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So 2 states only. The only option will be 3 only. So now as we have seen all these slides, all these information about how the northern mountains are built, there has to be some organized way of learning and how a particular location, a particular map, or a particular mountains, rivers and everything needs to be remembered. If you are seeing all these locations once in a while in a map, you won't be able to memorize it. Okay, you have to find a particular organized way of learning it. Like if you are reading glaciers, then you have to know about all the dimensions of a glacier. What are glaciers famous for? Why do what do glaciers give out? What do they take in? Okay. Similarly in the form of rivers, similarly in the form of mountain ranges, or mountain ranges, if you are reading, so we have to cover the passes. What are the major passes going through it? Which region it connects to? Is it from north to south or from east to west? How the Himalayas are being formed? So all these things from the geography perspective, you have to have a concept, right? And then accordingly we'll add up dimensions to it, so that if UPSC asks let's say from a particular location, it asks about certain dimensions, we'll be able to at least find out or get an idea ki haan, this region doesn't contain this river or something. So we'll be ruling out all these options. We have completed in this demonstration, we have completed the mountain regions and the northern mountain ranges specifically. But in the coming sessions, what we'll do, we'll try to take up the northern plains and the desert region or the peninsular region, then the coastal regions and the islands, and we'll be completing up this physiographic division. I hope you like the session, and I hope to see you soon in the next session too. Thank you.